rehash turtle position. He's on all fours. You know, number one goal is we're trying to get our knee into this window. And usually it's going to be our head knee. So that way when we slice in here, we can start really pressing in, we can wrap our leg around. Some people, like what we were working on last week was crucifix position from here, which does not involve our first knee because this would insert a hook to start taking back. It actually involves the leg knee. So that way we can slide up in here and we can now distance his arm out and scoop with our heel. Once our heel and our leg make a connection, they never let go again. This connection will never let go. And now we have a crucifix. We can grab the other arm and start flattening him out and really doing whatever we want to him. And so, real quick, we'll take one quick minute since Sean's new here, and we'll work on this turtle to crucifix. So we're in here. We do not bury our elbow past his ribs. We get a good palm on his center line, right on his breastbone, but our elbow never crosses really this side of the ribs. That if our elbow gets to this flank, we're gonna get swept. And so, if I come in here and I'm starting to work this and I really shoot, I'm gonna get swept. So again, real quick, my elbow is staying bent on his ribs. Turn this way a little bit. My elbow is staying bent on his ribs. And I'm flexing inward, whether I'm doing a balled up fist or whether I'm palming his chest and gripping up. We're gonna take this far knee, the knee that should be closest to his legs, and really insert it in, up all the way to his cheekbone. That far leg, I'm now supporting his arm. Far leg to come in. Leg and foot touch, they never let go. We extend this arm out. Now we can grab his other arm and start flattening him. So we're gonna take one quick minute and work on that. So again, grabbing that chest, far knee in, flaring his elbow out, coming in, and crucifying him out. Inserting that knee, finding that crucifix, spreading that arm out. And again, I don't want to bury my elbow. I want to be right here. And this is all I'm looking for this. Once we get here, this is just a rehash of last week. Once we get here, we'll actually work on the stuff I want to do today. 1, 2, 3. One quick minute on that. We're going to go in the opposite direction. And then I can reach up under his armpit and grab his wrist here. And pull it inward and really flatten out here. Into that far knee. And I can reach up under his armpit with this and grab that wrist and I can either flare it out or I can tuck it in up under him. Okay. So just 1 or 2 on each side real quick, guys. You don't see everything. That sees everything. Good. Full stitching on that arm, grabbing that other wrist. Really flaring him out. So again, just a quick crucifix position. We worked on stuff in the gi and stuff from the top of the head. And so since Eric and them were working top of the body and from turtle, I decided we should just work a little bit of the bottom half as well. It's turtle again, please, Jason. So for me, honestly, you know, Eric and all these guys, they're more top heavy than I am. Their game is to come in here, really pressure in, and start hanging on here. Or a good wrestler is going to come in here with a good seatbelt grip, and they're really going to get a nice solid base here, and they're going to pull backwards and try to flatten you out this way, or they're going to come in and pressure and do whatever they want to the top half of this body. Personally, I'm just lighter than that. If I get on top of somebody like Jason, and I get up here like this, my first instinct is I feel like he's always going to tuck and roll, and just roll on top of me. And I don't like that feeling. So for me, I tend to not, if I'm in turtle, attack the top half of the body. For me, the first thing I do whenever I'm in turtle is I'll usually grab this and stay here for half a second until I plan on what I can do. Once I grab this, and this is always a nice safe first spot, I like to reach in, and grab one wrist. It doesn't matter which one for me. If I have this hand, I can already grab this wrist. I keep myself anchored nice and tight. I'm leaning in with my ribs into his torso, and I have this other side pulling me backwards. So I'm pushing and I'm pulling. So I'm pretty much sandwiching him between the two sides of my arm and my ribs here. And this is a good position. Any of these are going to be good positions. I can chest into him like this and keep this opposite arm. And this is going to be nice and safe. Whenever I'm ready, the first attack I like to do is I like to get him out of turtle. For some reason, for me, I just don't like turtle. I would rather be in a side control type position. So, in doing so, or knowing what I'm going to do, we can sit here and hang on while he's thrashing and going to town, and once we find a stopping point, I have to first figure out a way to remove this hand and keep myself anchored. So I might reach up over, I might reach up under. One of these ways, I'm going to grab this hand again. I'm going to typically reach to the back of his foot up where this makes an arch. And I can go either way. Personally, I like to lift him up like this. Whenever I come here, I already have his arm trapped here. And so as we fall, we're going to immediately come into this cross face. I have his arm pinned by my chin. If I let my arm up, or if I let my chin up, and he yanks one good time, this arm is going to be free. Back is wrong. And so once I have my initial grip here and I have a good base, I'm going to figure out how to replace that grip with the opposite hand. So that way I can now take this hand to his foot. I find the arch in his foot. I'm going to immediately pry. Now he's off his base, he's off his knees. I can immediately feel that. And I just work up from there. I can slide my hand up to his knee and start turning until I get to a side control position. I will not let my chest go light on any of this. I like to continue my chest being super heavy whenever I do this. And once I find that position and I have pulled him off his base, my chest has not left contact with his body. And as I pull him up, my chest will continue to sandpaper as well as continuing this grip. Because as long as my chest stays pressured in, his elbow is going to be down here. If I sit here and do this, he has wiggle room. Here, there's no wiggle room. I have both these pulling backwards like a bow. He has no wiggle room here until I lay him all the way down flat on his back. So again, we're in turtle. If I tuck my elbow too far, he's going to pull it and start to roll. So we grab this wrist. I can reach through. Again, I'm going under his armpit on this one. Some people like to go over the armpit. That's okay. I like under the armpit better. That's just my game. And so again, initial, under his armpit, get a good base. I have to replace this grip. Replace it with this one. The moment I replace with this one, I have to immediately look for his foot. Wedge my fingers under the arch of his top of his foot and start to pull. One pull, I pull both the arm and the leg. He comes off of that knee, and now we can continue to grind into him. If I lose the hand, that's okay. As long as he's on his side, and eventually, on his back. And then we're in side control. Questions? Let me know. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Steven.
Get it.
You roll a TK. I gotta go grab something to eat.
Yep.
Just like the
No worries. No worries.
really bad.
Or a Gatorade or something?
No, I need something to eat.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be back just a minute.
No worries. If I lose the hand, that's why the chest stays heavy. So that way the chest can continue keeping the hand as long as it stays there.
Now you listen in the bowl, but that's fine.
Okay.
Because you got both sides strapped.
Exactly.
Both sides, right? So it's
Okay.
not like you're tall like you. So your way of doing things was
I like to go under. That's a
more comfortable.
Under by
Push 'em
one.
over, right?
Yeah, I like
The result is kind of the same.
Okay, because I was doing it like, oh, this
Well, the
isn't
result wouldn't be the same.
Once I
Because
clear
right
it
here, you have all your defenses in the body. Yeah.
heavy chest.
Right here, you have no defense in the body.
Yeah, so heavy chest.
Yeah, yeah.
Because of my arm strength.
So you can reach across, grab it, pull it up, and bring them in. However's happy for you.
Okay.
Or you can push, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you push, and that makes them like brace, and
Then
then
you
you
just
pull.
cut full. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely control. Leaning into it. Yep.
So I'm supposed to pull.
Yeah, just kind of hop backwards as you pull.
This one?
Nope.
Two you. I'll pull two you. Yep.
Then you take that left leg and swoop it around and work for that mount if you want.
Okay.
I like to do that foot drag, right, where I'm just, here's what I do, and I'll roll it out.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I can get a hold of something there.
That can be a very
So I notice
offensive
something
position.
so strong
This,
here.
just this is
Yeah,
not.
and I used to wrestle
Whenever I'm on my
and
stomach
do a break
or
down and
onto
try.
my side like
Yeah.
that,
But these
you
dudes are
don't.
so strong and I'm so old and broken. I can't make any headway on their leg. They're too strong down here.
Yeah. So you
So
get
I
ready to
switch to
switch
that hip. You can try that.
Yeah.
Just grab the hip and rip it over.
Heavy, heavy shoulder pressure. Reach in, walk down the top, reach in. Yes. On top of the chin. Yes, now bring it. Yes. Yeah, chin works. Head.
Or like how yours is nice and flat like mine. Yeah, it makes it tough to get a hold of. Yeah. Pull them back. And then go right into your back.
Yep.
What am I trying to accomplish? I want to do over this.
Yeah.
So whether I bulldoze you, whether I grab your leg and pull, you know, if I work on the grab the leg, I'll probably attach myself to the leg. And I would still pressure the leg.
Go over with the
As much
hand.
as anything.
Because you don't have to keep it over your hand.
And I take my hips and I go back.
Wrapped over with your hand and twist
So
it
it kind of stretches my arm out. I go back and then I pull you down. And boom, you big, you kind of
Yeah, because you're kind of like pulling.
Is that wall stir?
Like, you get a strong side.
Well, and you can even, some guys are gonna face out with their knees.
Okay. Elbow
Like,
over my
when
head.
you're trying to drag them.
Yeah.
And then you block this,
Walking backwards.
right? And then you're kind of,
have the hand.
see how I have a leverage point now?
Yeah.
Over here.
Okay. Or if you know you're coming that way, go ahead and preemptively block that knee so that they can't post it out. Okay. Cool.
So, ideally, you know, we always want to hit things flat. You can watch a ton of YouTube videos online about how this looks like one of the dumbest positions. The turtle's very advantageous. Like, you can do a lot from turtle. Knee bars, ankle locks, I mean, you name it. You can roll into something from turtle. You can be totally safe. It's
Turtling safe?
totally safe. It's sorcery to watch it happen, but anytime someone is on their arms and their knees, or their elbows and their knees, and not flat down, whether it's on their back or their belly flat, they have a great position. And so we'll work on number two. So number two, turn facing real quick. So number two is not going to be a hold, more or less it's going to be a starting position. So going back to inserting the knee into the triangle here. If I have the ability and I can insert that full knee, that's great. Ideally though, if I can come in and get this grip, and I can figure out a way to grab this underhand and push it up, I've now created that hole without the knee. So for me, the reason why I'm explaining it this way is because if I insert this knee, at the end of the day for me, this close leg, right, that's closest to his head, it's going to be a hook. Because whenever we end up taking back something this side goes to that leg, this leg goes to this leg. And so a knee slide in here would not work. Whereas if I'm here and I can take this arm and push it out of the way, I can then bring my foot in and start to interlace with his leg. Ideally, whenever I bring my foot in, I want to come up to where, ideally, whenever I come in and I push this arm out and I bring this foot in, I want to do this, which is called a Shinride. I have now interlaced my foot with his foot. We are super connected right now. He's not going to go anywhere. I have great control of his hips. I can lean straight into his hips. I can bear hug him. I can over under. I can seatbelt. I can roll. And so for me, whenever I see a turtle position, the first thing instinctually is if I can't get this foot and flop them over, I get this foot and I know they're not coming. I reach under and I Shinride and we get here. There are a myriad of opportunities from here as well. I just want us to work on getting this first because this is a very safe position. I can lock here and I can lock here. Now we have a truck position. And so again, we get our turtle. We're going for the crucifix, it doesn't work. We're going for the foot, it doesn't work. So I grab his arm back here and I grab his leg. That foot doesn't work. I can just switch arms, extend him out, and start my Shinride. Once my feet, my toes have cleared his calf muscle, I can flex my toes inward, making my toes touch the mat, so that way he cannot slide his foot out under my foot. Again, right here, super comfortable position. Get a minute of balance here. Work on leaning into your opponent. Work on grabbing them around the waist. Work on a seatbelt grip. And work on around the crotch grip. And so one more time. Right here, we're going for the last one where we grab the foot, it doesn't work. All I gotta do is switch my hand, push his hand out, create this hold again. Bring my foot in, and come to the Shinride. Once we're here, leaning in, bear hug, a seatbelt, so over under grip, and a crotch grip. Any questions, please let me know. 1, 2, 3. So either A, you can get seatbelt grip. Yeah. You can go bear hug around the waist, so double under. Yeah. Or you can go crotch grip. Yeah. You can roll it. And so right here, this is a perfect truck position. Practice leaning in, practice seatbelt grip, practice bear hug grip or double unders, and practice crotch grip.
There's a whole implant system from the truck where you're at right now. With crotch grippers and calf slicers.
Knee exploders, all of the demolition bomb moves, you know. You okay?
It's hard to create a leg right.
Oh, sorry.
You need somebody that kind of floats up a little bit, and once they do, you just kind of slip that sucker in there. If you're completely turtled down, for me to somehow get all those right, and just knock it out. So whenever you're rolling around with somebody, you're doing whatever, you find they base up a little more. Make you feel the other
side. Yeah, with this one, yeah. You can go under.
Now perhaps a more secure variant of what you just did, instead of getting around my head, just go around the opposite arm. So if I'm just on a leg right here or a hook in,
So this time before that Shinride, switch hands.
There's nothing.
This hand should
Where was I
really
around
control
my
this
head? Around the head. Yeah, this feels spin into me. Gotcha.
Uh,
So as I start to
Yeah,
bring
so
you in,
whenever you, after you grab the
See
foot,
how
so
you spin
once I
that?
yank
Yeah.
out, this
or
hand
if
is
I
gonna
have
go
that
to
opposite shoulder,
your
I've
hand's
now
gonna go to this
isolated
hand.
your body.
Yes,
You got
so that way you
ability
open
to
this
spin
whole,
into me.
Yeah.
No, just keep it there so that way you can get the
It feels
foot.
like it's more right.
You got a wide,
Being on top of
much
somebody
more
in front of
wide
a
angle
speaker
to get that foot in there.
because all they have to do is put it up there, like get on me like just in general. If I just come over here like
to that
this,
and then
see how
truck.
you wanna slide off?
I catch you in truck
So if I'm
takes
here and I
back too.
throw a leg
I don't have
out,
to sit there and truck.
my biggest safety is to reach across and grab
Say
this
what?
shoulder.
I don't know anything
about
Right, so
Yeah.
nothing you can do.
There's a lot there. And so once I get the crotch grip,
But it's
see, I
so
can,
much more secure than if I was just here. Yeah, right, so
I can
go
finish
back
the
up. And I get on here like this, a lot of people will see it, just put your foot in here.
Yep. Which is actually
Yeah.
So that diagonal.
It's a
to
bit
the
of a
shoulder.
And I was bumping you off as you did it, you grabbed it. Yeah.
So the first was the foot pull. So this one, yeah. So if the foot pull is not working, we're gonna switch our hand to this hand. So we're gonna spill out more. Our head foot. So we can slide in and get the Shinride. Let's get our legs here. And then we'll work on seatbelt grip. Double under grip. And under grip. Back foot, the doesn't work after the direct arm foot. Switch hands.
If I'm gonna put doubles
This one to
in
this
on
one.
somebody,
That
I
way you
love
can
to.
insert this leg in easier. Or this
Spread
way.
the wrists.
And I want to get
And
the
then
top
you
of my
kind
foot.
of thrust your upper body
Cross
out
your shin
and
down
your lower
here,
body
so
back
it's
and
like
wing it flat.
insert a hook.
I think of that as the worst position.
Get over top of his calf and flare the bottom top of your foot on his calf.
Just being
Get to the neck.
flattened out.
So now I'm
Forward
going
body,
to see over.
and they have the ability
And then
to pry
double
under
under
mainstream.
And then a crotch
You
grip.
need more weight. than
Over
they
the
have.
crotch. So this hand over
So
top
you're doing
here, this
underhooks
hand
and
under.
grabbing there.
Yes, double under the armpits and grabbing both wrists, and then two hooks in, and then you just flatten them out, and then kind of arch up and pull up a little bit.
So from here, I can roll backwards and take it into the truck.
That's a really bad one. And when I first started, people would do this move where they would feed your hand behind you and grab it with their opposite
I
arm.
do the seatbelt on so I can take back.
And so you were just like miserable, and then lay back on your own arm.
Then breaking the foot attack, switching to the other hand, inserting the shin level, and then get from here, I can just lean into him without hands and just get my base. I just want to make sure I'm staying here. And now we can go over seatbelt, double unders, cross grip,
I don't like being bottom.
all the way over, all the way over.
I don't like it.
You're really susceptible to Kimura shoulder attacks.
Double in.
And there's a Marcelo Garcia head and arm, where he kind of comes from behind
Yeah.
and reaches under, and that's a real nasty choke. We have one guy in here in particular that he's a master of that choke, and he feels very old stuff.
Yeah.
It's miserable when you find stuff like
Rolling back.
You have one of those too, it's
Keep it double under. Yes.
it just feels like I'm gonna. It just
We can
feels
always
like
roll
slowly
once and
works
roll
in the
back.
choke, and it's
We still need to enter back up, we can roll all the way.
That's kind of my game. I don't like to do stuff that makes me fast. I want to do things, if you listen to a lot of the analysis for the masters, they talk about checkpoints. And once you achieve a checkpoint, you don't have to go backwards from there.
Yeah.
So it is a slow, methodical grind.
Yeah,
Slow,
yeah.
methodical advancement of position.
And so last one's a little bit advanced. We're gonna roll off the Shinride. And so we're actually gonna do a front roll off this Shinride and we're gonna end up trying to take it back. So again, you know, we got our elbow here. We're not reaching our elbow line past his flank. We're keeping our elbow inside of his midline on the half of his on the half of his rib cage. Once we reach in too deep, he's gonna sweep us. So we're here, palm. We reached for this to get the knee in, it didn't work. We reached for the foot, it didn't work. We space out. It's going to be a good Shinride in. Once we get a good Shinride in, and we're here. And this is why I was saying we want to make sure we have a good base here. I can sit here like this, and I'm okay for a second. I can take a breather, and I can think about my next decision. It's going to take a lot of effort for him to immediately get off of me unless he's weight or size difference is drastic versus me. If we're about the same size, like he can sit here, and I can just lean on him like a table, and we're chilling for a second. Now, from here, we're going to try to do this berimbolo or this front roll. So with my foot tucked, I'm just going to, whenever I roll, I'm going to roll that way. The first thing I'm going to do is make sure my hands are not going to be interfering in this roll. And the way we do that is both hands are going to come down and grab his leg, and we roll. I have now kept one arm on his leg because his other hand is anticipating to take his back. As you can see, we've not lose the leg grip. We still have a Shinride going on here, and we have his foot. I can shove his foot down as I'm reaching towards his shoulder line. Once I cup his shoulder line, I can work my way down his leg, shove his leg down, and replace it with my leg. And now we have a back take. So again, we're in here. Foot doesn't work. Space out, get the Shinride. Once I'm in Shinride, take a second. If you need one of those, hey, I gotta psych up for this because this is a big deal. Like if you do it incorrectly, you could lose position, etc. And so you have to have full send confidence on this, like we're gonna do it. No second guesses. So whenever we're ready to do it, both hands go to the leg, and we just roll over the shoulder. This time I kept both hands on it, that's okay. I'm going to shove his leg away and lean down to the mat to start scooping my bottom hand up under his neck so I can bring him over to me. Didn't have my other hook in, that's okay. I can insert it just about whenever I want. But that's the main position I want us to get to, is just getting through that roll and to the back take. So one more time. From the other side, Shinride, lean in. Whenever I'm ready, both hands are gonna go to the leg, and we're gonna roll. I have now, in the momentum, already shut his leg down and starting my reach to my shoulder. I always want to reach for the shoulder that's closest to the mat because I want my hand to be the barrier against him, between him and the mat. I don't want him to have access to the mat. He's got to go through my hand to get access to the mat. So we're here. As we pull in, insert our hook, and we're back.
And then a gi, you could walk
grip it all
right
day long.
into the
Grip it all day long. Yeah. You can grip and shove that leg out of the way as much as you want with the gi. Just a no gi, you do a 10-minute, 15-minute round. You're going to grab it as you roll. You got to hang on.
Yeah, when you were sitting there, you got that bow and arrow right there. Just
So in gi, yes, you can do it that way too. Absolutely. And so Shinride, roll over the hands. Keep both hands on that foot as you roll. Whenever we're coming up, we can keep one hand on that foot, shove it out of the way. As we reach for the shoulder, that's the closest to the mat. Pull him in and get our other hook in. Questions, please let me know. 1, 2, 3. Last one, we'll get some rolls in, guys.
This is some CJ stuff.
This is some CJ stuff. This is confidence, baby. This is the confidence.
I'm not trying to roll over this shoulder or
Yep.
this shoulder.
So really, this is one of those only times that you can actually roll with this head. But I'm going to want to roll, tucking my shoulders up under my legs. I want to go through this level. Yes. All the way over.
Control this leg.
All the way over. Push that leg out of the way, reach for the bottom of the shoulder.
I thought that just rolled right.
Beautiful.
You can tell I don't do much of this artistic stuff.
You got to once every decade, Jason.
I did it.
Put the hands on that foot. Oh, that's good, right? Yeah. Straight roll. Get that leg out, push that foot downward, and reach for his back. Over here. Yep, bottom side is the ass. And then you can reinsert that hook whenever, because this leg's already trapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so Shinride.
That's what I think he was saying.
Yeah, I want this hand first, shooting down the mat, because whenever you guys roll, your hand just comes pressed behind his back knee, bringing pieces. And so on the next one, be a little bit more confident. Rushing out.
Work on that first four.
I don't want it stuck under him.
Okay.
Right. Try again. If you look, Shinride. Nope. Go hands in the leg. Yep. I'm just gonna try and roll straight through this hole. Yep. Straight through. Beautiful. All the way up. All the way up. This needs to be better. Beautiful. Pull him in. Pull it down. Another. That one's great.
Oh, dog, new tricks.
I'm telling you, baby. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Well,
And that's what makes
from
it-
the my neck injury, it's kind of like a head game, you know?
I hear you.
Yeah.
That's why I say we're gonna send it.
Right.
You gotta go.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna sit there and be stacked on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Gotcha.
I'm gonna roll.
Walk where you want to, so instead of this, I'm just out here doing nothing.
Yeah, so the last 2 weeks, like I said, Eric and Matt, we've been teaching clock chokes and turtle stuff, pretty much everything in turtle from gi and no gi last couple of weeks. And primarily it was all focused on head and top torso stuff. And you know, got so many people that say, well, I forget 5% of the body, which is the legs and knees or whatever, 50% or whatever technique. But I like to focus on whenever I'm in turtle, I tend to feel like their top heaviness can trump my whole body. And I've had people tuck and roll on me while I'm in top turtle, and I get put on the ground. And it's like, all right, well, that was all for naught. Like, I lost a good position. Comparatively, if I were to, whenever I started switching and focusing on inserting a Shinride, immediately my chances got better. Connecting a Shinride, I would lose position less, and then starting to learn what I can do from a Shinride, whether it's double unders, whether it's a crotch grab, whether it's a rolling to a truck, or rolling over their legs. One of those has got me a lot more success for me in my game, not necessarily Eric, because we love Eric, but for me in my game, versus the top half of the torso whenever in turtle. That, for me, I feel like that's a big man's game. I'm just not a big man. I go to those Shinride positions where I can control legs, and